With your experience with SFM, has that shifted your outlook on life other than in like the business realm?
Oh yeah, massively. Massively. That was a bit of a slow burner for me, and I think that's more down to your own perception of yourself as well. So I've always, I suppose, kind of hid my light under a bushel, for want of a better phrase. But I know I've got this thing in me, and it's like you sort of keep your head under the parapet. And are you guys black?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you done platinum?
I have.
Yes, I'm going in March.
Okay, cool. So I think that was probably the start for me in terms of seeing other possibilities. Yeah, same.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you realise just how much the world needs what you've got to offer, rather than who the hell's going to listen to me, who's going to want to hear, you know, my story or what I'm doing. But Jesus Christ, you know, we were all in the same boat when we saw those videos on YouTube. So, you know, and there's 7-8 billion people in the world. So, yeah, so it's been a gradual process for me. So it's been realizing my own potential. It's been realizing that I am a leader. I'm not a stand and shout leader. I think it was in Austin where Guy said leading from behind as opposed to in the front, and I feel like that's me. But still having that potential for other people. But and I think over the last month or so, you know, I've been engaged with various people, not just SFM, where it's naturally coming out. I mean, I've always had this, so I've always been an active listener ever since I was a kid. You know, I was the listener, not the talker. And all of my friends would say, "Go to Mal, she's brilliant for advice, you know, especially relationship advice or whatever." Hello, she's divorced, but anyway, but I'm great at other people's. So I've always had that ability, and I've always known it. And I wanted to be a psychologist when I went to uni, and then I changed my mind because I was like, who's going to listen to a 20-something? You know, I'm going to be sat in front of a 50-year-old guy who's got way more life experience than me. And I did an about turn and ended up in bloody sales. But so yeah, so it's been a gradual thing for me, but the passion and the drive now to really help other people in whatever it might be. You know, relationships is a big thing for me, but also the self-belief that you don't have to settle for second best. You don't have to settle for the piss poor wages that you're settling for and the job that you can't stand. I'm thinking of my brother right now, who's been doing that for over 10 years. He can't stand the job, but he's like, Mal, I won't get another job like that pays the same. And, you know, and his wife is now earning no money whatsoever. So it's that whole realization of, Jesus Christ, there are so many people on the breadline, so many people that haven't got a clue that there's another way.
Yeah.
And it's our duty, it's our obligation, it's our responsibility, horrible words, but words all the same, to make sure that the people that are going to listen anyway know about it. So yeah, so it has changed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a great reframe too, because in terms of for yourself and building your business, it's so much more appealing to come from a place of like, hey, I have this gift, this insight, this responsibility, and I want to share it with you, versus like pushing this product.
Yeah. And that was really evident when I was rewriting my script last night. It's like pulling away from that, but how do you know, because I've been in sales for 20 odd years, you know, so it's maybe sometimes I can be a bit too salesy. So it's like sort of stepping back from that and reframing it, like you say. So it's an education. I mean, every day is an education.
Yeah.
What do you feel like has been one of the highlights from your experience with SFM?
Austin, for sure. I had such a blast out there. And The Black Retreat was amazing. I don't know if you guys have done one yet.
No, we're going in next April.
Where is it? Is it Dominican again, or? Yeah, that's where I went. So yeah, I mean, that was just amazing because you obviously get up close and personal with all of them, Stuart, Jay, Justin, JJ, and that was where the whole leadership thing really started to come out for me as well, with a session with JJ. But I think ultimately, because none of us knew when we clicked on that link and put our name and email in, that we were going to suddenly be part of this unbelievable community of people, did we? Not a clue. So out of everything, you know, and I've made some like amazing friends, like, you know, you met them, some of them out in Austin. You've got Andy, Hillary, and people like that. And, you know, we're so lucky to not live too far away. You know, I can get there within a couple of hours on the train or whatever, you know, so we do get to meet up. And that's made such a difference. And you know, and we've got this accountability group going on now in terms of the adverts and stuff. And if you didn't have that, you could easily just think, oh, do you know what? I'll do it next week. And next week would roll into next week and would roll into next week. And before you know it, another 6 months have gone. So, but it's also the feeling that, you know, everybody is in it together. Everybody wants to help each other. You know, there's no competition. You know, I've helped my lot, they've helped me, you know, and it's continuous. And then you reach out to people, you know, like yourselves, you know, and somebody will pipe up on Facebook or whatever with an answer or try and guide you to somewhere. Do you know what I mean? And it's just, that's priceless, isn't it? So, so yeah, it's the friends, it's the community, and it's the becoming the bigger, better you.
Yeah, that's so brilliantly put. Everything that you just said is, I mean, to me, it's like the true gold of what SFM is. You know, it's a supportive community. Yeah, one thing that I have composure for you guys. Composure is the opposite of jealousy, right?
Okay.
The all the folks in the UK are close together, and you guys can meet up. Like, there's no one here in the Pacific Northwest. You know, it's like no, not happening.
That's the thing, and we know we're really blessed because of that. Because obviously America is just huge.
Yeah.
So have you literally got no one at all?
No.
Not in Oregon.
There's gotta be somebody.
I think there might be one.
There's someone.
One woman who is down in like Corvallis, which is like 2 hours from us.
Charlie's in California.
Charlie? Oh, yeah.
He's in California.
Yeah, Charlie's in California. There's a couple of LA folk. You know, so a couple hours away. There might be like 4. But that's something.
2 hours, that's doable.
Yeah. So maybe we're just not committed enough.
Well, you could set up a meetup, couldn't you? So I don't know, wherever these guys are sitting, if you work it in a radius, where's the middle point? And then find a bar or a coffee shop or whatever and do it. You know, you just don't know, because that's how I started. It was the likes of Dan and Alex Smale and that they started the first meetups, and I went to my first one last December, and that's where I met Hillary. And Andy Wilson didn't go to that one, but he came to the next month in January, and that's where I met Andy. But me and Andy had already been commenting on each other's videos anyway. And the 90-day video journey, which I haven't mentioned, but so that's kind of where it started. So kudos to, you know, fair play to the McCawsome Source lot. They got that whole thing going, and it's continued. And then people are doing stuff up in Manchester, in Scotland. And yes, it's a bit of a cost, and it's a bit of time out of your week and all the rest of it to go and do it. But God, it's so worth doing. So, if you guys have got 4 or 5 people that potentially could get together within an hour or two, it's got to be worth doing. You just never know.
Yeah, well, look into it.
Yeah.
Look into it. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So in light of that last question, what has been one of the biggest challenges for you during this time?
Well, time is the biggest because I work full time, but also managing especially my mother. Since we lost my dad, I've been very much her rock, if you like. So even though, like, my sister lives in Cornwall, which is 300 miles away, my brother lives with my mum, but my older brother, but he's not a conversationalist. I think he's on the autistic spectrum. And then my younger brother lives, again, not in the same city as us. So I'm the one that's basically always there, always take her out the weekend, take her out for dinner, we go for a drink, whatever. So she's had me all to herself for the last few years, pretty much. Even when I was married, my husband was brilliant with my mum, so we would always take her out for Sunday lunch and all that sort of stuff. And she's got very used to it. And I've been saying to her, I haven't got the same time anymore. I need to use my weekends, to do this. And, I've had a bit of a naff text off her today because of it. But it's just like, I've got to do it, and it's that emotional guilt, isn't it? So it's the juggling the time with the job, and just, you sat there doing the day job and all you want to do is SFM. And then it's juggling the emotions of my mother. Those are the two big challenges. Oh, and money, of course, because I was earning a lot of money until a few months ago, and then basically my job changed, which has made it more difficult, which means I'm now not earning the same level of commissions, which means I've now got no budget. So so time, emotions, money. You only asked for one, you got three.
No, that's good. That's the biggest. Sounds like the trifecta is the biggest challenge.
Mm-hmm. The what?
The trifecta, the trio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got some unusual words.
Yeah.
That's just him.
It's just me.